Hey y'all, this your girl Cece. Welcome to 3CE Church, where our motto is life is better when we do it together. So let me give you some opportunities where you can meet your girl right here. Sunday mornings for worship, or you can come study with me on Tuesdays at Tune Up Tuesday. Either way you want to do it, here's what I want you to do. I want you to jump in the chats. I want you to give me a wave. I want you to give me a thumbs up, or I want you to drop your questions. Either way it goes, I want to talk just to you. So remember, we are changed people, changing people with the love of God. See you in the chat.
Welcome to Community Christian Center, where we are changed people, changing people with the love of God. Hey guys, I'm Pastor Jay
And I'm Pastor K.
and we want to welcome you home. Hey, we want to welcome you to an awesome time of praise and worship, inspiring word, and great fellowship. So we're so grateful that you joined us here at Community Christian Center, and we want to say it one more time. Welcome home, where
there's a seat waiting just for you.
So get your pad, get your pen. Let's get ready to go up. Unity's ready. Pastor K, you ready?
I'm ready.
I'm ready. Y'all guys ready? Let's go into worship. Peace.
Mind over here, right? So we do have some questions, and I did share the questions with the ladies ahead of time, but I also told them, because Dr. Sheriff Gregory got mad with us last year because she said we gave her all that homework and we didn't get through the questions. That's okay. We just want to have some good, free-flowing conversations, just focus on mental health wellness. So I will kick off with the first question, and you can answer the question. You can ask another question. We just want to have some free-flowing conversations, okay? Yeah. So the first question, from your experience, what social, cultural, or spiritual pressures cause many women to manage mental health challenges privately rather than seeking support? So kick us off, Dr. Moon.
Yeah, so there are several, right? I can list them, but I think we live in an environment today where sharing and talking about things becomes very difficult. I think that across the board, in African American communities, communities of color, we have not oftentimes been treated very well by the system. And so there's a distrust of the system in terms of what they're going to get, the services that'll be offered, whether people will understand. I think the other piece is that many times in our community, because people are not familiar with Black and brown communities, that we come in having to care for and teach providers, right? About who we are and what our experiences are, so that they will become a little bit more culturally sensitive to some of our concerns. So I think those things interfere. It's nothing like coming into a session having to teach somebody about you, right? You're expecting that they are going to deliver a service to you, right? And so then to have to go in and take care of the provider kind of facilitates the same dynamic that we have going on in our communities, where Black women oftentimes are the caregivers.
That's good. I'm actually reading a book, and it's called I'm Not Yelling. And one of the things that the author talks about is when she was 9 years old, her grandmother passed, and she just suffered like severe depression. And she had a white therapist, and she said at 9 years old, I was having to explain to her to try to help her understand so that she could connect. And that's the exact thing that you talked about. And so therefore it wasn't of any benefit for her. Like, we're not getting what we need when we're having to do the education there. So clearly we need more African American therapists, because we won't see people who look like us, because they are more likely to relate to our experiences.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
So I would also say societal norms sometimes places different expectations on brown women. And just makes it seem as though this is what it's supposed to be. So oftentimes when people don't do those things, or they set up clear boundaries of what they are or aren't going to do, it looks like they're yelling. It looks like they are rebelling. They're creating new roles in their families as well as in the workplace, and that looks a little difficult because they don't know how to approach the person because they're a little abrasive. Oftentimes you can see that between providers in the hospital and then their patients, or you're the providers and the case managers, that you can see some friction because they're speaking up for themselves or they're advocating for those patients because they know, because they can relate to them.
Such a good point.
But sometimes they don't listen because of those things.
Yeah.
Very good, very good.
agree.
So the lack of cultural understanding, and please don't go in there talking about prayer and God. They're going to think you have a mental health challenge, right? As opposed to hearing and understanding that's a part of your wellness. Those are absolutely spiritual anchors and tools that support you, because we do know that mental health and physical health are intricately tied together, as well as your spiritual health. But again, all of those are different pressures. So, and also another thing that I thought about, like when it comes to women managing our challenges privately, we have this superwoman facade. Like, we're supposed to be able to do it all. And, have we ever seen a show where Superman got weak with the exception of the kryptonite and that was a fake something? So we should always wear our cape. So for us to struggle goes against who we think we're supposed to present. And that in itself can keep you from reaching out to get the help that you need.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's a lot of embarrassment, shame, sometimes even guilt, regret that go along with having to shed that cloak of, strength. I think sometimes we affiliate asking for help with not being strong, right? And so I think that goes along with it as well.
And then sometimes it can be thrown in your face. You've seen that, like, hey, I reached out for help. Well, last time when you went to a therapist, what did your therapist say? And nobody wants to hear that, because if you have a cold or a flu, don't you go to the doctor?
Yeah.
So if you need mental health support, why not go to a provider that specializes in that? You wouldn't walk around with a flu for 7 months. Why are we walking around depressed for 7 months?
So true.
We also talked about historically how a lot of African American communities was what happens in this house stays in this house.
Yeah.
And basically that contributes to the stigma of mental health challenges and why we don't reach out for support, because those are things we keep to ourselves, we manage on our own. We talk about the fact that everybody has that uncle who, had he ever gone to the doctor, would have been diagnosed, but because we took such care of him and supported him, they never went to get the help that they needed. I feel like there's a question in the audience. If there's a question from the audience, please go ahead.
Well, not so much a question. I just wanted to add to that. It depends on what era you come from, how old you are, because back in my day, it was taboo. You did not go see a therapist. And as you were saying, whatever happens in your home, stay in your home, okay? If your mother or your grandmother is the person who's guiding you, you listen to what they say. You don't need a therapist. You don't need to talk to nobody, because we're here to help you. So a lot of people my age, I'm probably older than everybody in here. I ain't gonna talk my age though, but it all depends. I would never go, and I felt like I always needed to go because of that stigma. Like, we don't do that. The other coaches do that. Black women don't do that because we're strong, because we're super women. And it keeps us away from doing what we need to do. As years has gone by and Margaret is in the field I see the need of people my age still need to go, still need therapy. Years went by, things happen, but we still need therapy. But that stigma is there, like, we can't go because it's taboo. This is something that keeps us away from it,
Thank you for sharing that, because a lot of times when you are that person from that era, if you can be the one to share with others, that's how we break that cycle. That's how we break that chain. And then people come open to receiving the help that they need. And like you said, it definitely helps that you have a daughter who's in the field, because then you get a better understanding. It's not this taboo thing that it's been painted to be forever. So I do appreciate you sharing it with the group. Yes. So I have a question that's geared more for, and we're not talking any HIPAA, but basically just when people seek counseling, do they typically show up when they're in the middle of a crisis, or are you seeing more individuals come to you on the front end and really trying to protect their mental health wellness?
Yeah, so it's usually in the middle of a crisis. Yeah, I think, but our system is designed like that, right? So if you're trying to use insurance, right, if you're trying to get the benefit of the services that you paid for through medical coverage, healthcare coverage, that kind of thing, then prevention is not covered, right? Prevention isn't covered. So we struggle with what to do before it gets to a crisis. And I'll go back to our comments about, us it being taboo. I think that in many cases, and I'll go back to Mrs. Henderson's comment, right, about the stigma. I always try to celebrate the way that we do it and the way that we have been doing it. So therapy is, in my opinion, a very European thing. It is a European approach to fixing problems when there is a lack of community.
Oh, that's good.
Right?
Wow.
And so when people come to therapy, oftentimes I will say, let's celebrate the way you have been doing it up until I came into the picture. So we want to give strength and give honor to all of those things that we put in place to prevent you from coming, because that's your prevention.
Yeah.
Good relationships, health and wellness, diet, exercise, good sleep, all of those things, right? And so we want to uplift those. And so then therapy becomes just another tool, right, that we're doing that you've invited me in to be able to now help support the other things that were in place for you. Right? So I always will share that with my patients. Don't dismiss the strength of your community, your mothers, your grandmothers, all of the ways that you have been doing it up until this time. You're just adding. Therapy is just adding. And so at this point, if it's a crisis, we'll work through the crisis. But then the idea is to put you back into that community so that they can continue to take care of you in a healthy way.
That's good. Go ahead, Margaret.
So, as a person that had a history in doing intake and admissions and the director of that position several years ago, I would often see that people would come in the middle of a crisis. But even in the middle of a crisis, they still wasn't forthcoming because it was still maybe a way and people were raised, and sometimes it's the case and sometimes it's not. If you are out the house, you're happy. It doesn't matter what happened. Like, I'm trying to tell you what happened. I'm like, I need some criteria here.
Yeah.
I know you need to be here. Tell me what you need to tell me. And if they aren't ready yet, then they don't say the right things that they need to get the support that they need. And then you have whoever the provider is. So if they're not culturally sensitive, then that's an instance that they might not get that help because they're like, oh, she didn't say this. But like, did you see your eyes? Or you might get somebody that might have a little bit too much criteria, but their whole family depends on them to pay the bills. So now we have to figure out what we can do, because if they get admitted in here for this crisis, that's more of a financial stressor. So it's so many different facets to that, and a lot of times they are in the middle of it. But if they're not ready or other resources aren't available for them, or, oh, somebody else can't pick up the bills for me, or I don't have anybody to watch my kids. That's a big one as well. Yeah. So those are some things that, affect even if you're in the middle of crisis and you're in need of help.
I would agree. I think you bring up a really, really good point. Oftentimes, as Black women, we have to have the privilege to have a breakdown.
Oh, my God. Tell it. That's good. Say that again.
Like, I cannot afford to have a breakdown right now.
I said that this week, actually.
Exactly
I said it this week.
I cannot afford this right now. I got work. I got to be at work tomorrow. I got to feed these kids. I got to show up for my husband. All of those things. I do not have time to have the breakdown. So we put it all on the back burner. I'll get to this later.
I'm going to schedule it for next month.
I know. I'll put the mask on. Let me get my makeup on correct. Let me dress it up. And let me fake it. See how long we can actually do this. So that contributes to how we get to crisis mode so quick, because we don't have it's no time. It's a privilege to have a breakdown.
That's good. So then Eric gonna mention another book. So we read, what's it called, Carmen? Weathering. And it talks about the mental load that we carry. And it's exactly that, how we continue to we put the mask on, we carry all the things which clearly any other ethnic group would have been in full-blown crisis mode, but because we've learned how to carry so much of it, even if it doesn't manifest as a mental breakdown, it then becomes a physical breakdown. So either way, we find ourselves challenged and not able to do all those things we're trying to be protective of.
That's so true.
So yeah, we're gonna work on some strategies to do better in that area, which is actually a good segue into the next question is, what does meaningful support actually look like? Not only for someone who might be struggling emotionally, but for a sister that you know is carrying all these things and needs another approach. I'm not in crisis mode, so my insurance is not going to cover me to go see this therapist. So what do I do? What can I do to get support in situations like that?
So I would say first that the person needs to identify what support looks like for them. Because what it looks like for me might not be what it looks like for you. Some people, they want to do self-care and go get a massage. Some people like to work out. Some people just want to lay in the bed and doom scroll. So it depends on what you want to do and what that looks like for you. So identifying that, having a plan, having your safe people. And even if you don't have it, try to create your own community. And I think that that's the biggest piece that people often, they miss out on. I am very blessed to have a supportive family, but some people aren't. And then sometimes even if you have that supportive family, you can't rely on them to be your everything. You have to pay for a babysitter sometimes, or, swap with a friend. Hey, you want to get them this weekend and I get them that weekend? Swap with a friend. You want to get them this weekend?
That's a
No,
grandma
I mean,
in the
it is.
room.
One of
That's
my
a
favorite
grandma
things
in
to
the
do
room.
actually is go to my siblings' house and lay on the couch and let them help me parent the kids. Right? I told them that, and they was like, "Are you using me?" Yes, I am. Because this is what I need today. This is what my support looks like. I want to be here too, so I could just be here and be with my family, but I also want some help today.
Yeah.
It also can look like, hey, I cooked you dinner for the week.
Yeah.
So everybody looks at it in a different way, but you have to create your own community sometimes and cannot rely, that's what you wanted, you cannot rely on just one person.
Yeah.
As my mother says, she might be the oldest one in the room. I can't ask her every weekend to watch my kids because I have to work extra, because I want to go to the gym, because I need a spa day. Like, she can't be my everything. You're welcome.
I was gonna say
just for this
that's
month.
a grandma's
Next
on the
month
front
we'll
row
restart.
saying,
We'll
yeah.
restart next month.
But no, that's very valid. I like the fact. I think we need to teach Pastor K how to say no, like no means no. That's a topic for another time. No means no. But I think the value in what you shared is that we recognize that we do need help. We have to be okay with accepting the help. We need to make sure we communicate the type of help that we need, but we also don't want to take advantage of and expect them to do it every single weekend or every single time. And I also like the fact that you talked about finding another person maybe with kids and trading off, like you get them this weekend, I get them the next weekend. That way you both get a break. And the other power in that, and this is something I struggled with doing, like the weekend when the kids were gone, that was clean the house, do the laundry. I never had enough sense to sit down and rest in. And I'm not telling anybody to be neglectful of your responsibilities, take care of home, but it is okay to take a break and get some rest as a part of the process.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
Can I add on to what I said? I
Yes,
have
ma'am.
another thing. Sometimes people do offer support. And the person receiving the support, they have it so in their brain of how it should be that they miss the whole opportunity because it didn't come packaged correctly. So because that person couldn't help you with everything, you don't want 70% of the help. And that a lot of times people miss that opportunity where they could have got something accomplished in that time because, oh, I can come help you unpack.
Yeah.
Like for an hour, but I need you all day. But I got an hour.
Yeah.
So I think as women, we need to be able to accept that I can't control how that looks sometimes, that I need to just let go of those rules and allow people to help me, love on me, support me in the way that they can at that time, because we never know what somebody else is going through.
Yeah.
And they might not have that capacity to provide that, but they took that much out to be able to support their friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what about those that need the help but just really don't know how to express what they need?
Mm-hmm.
Because we find a lot of women, I need help. What do you need help in? I just know I need help, but they don't really know what to ask for. Or or yes, there's therapists. Yes, we say, hey, go talk to a therapist or whatever, but me just sitting there, is it really going to help me? But I guess I'm just getting that a lot. It's just that I find women that don't know how to ask or don't know what they need. So how do we help?
Yeah, yeah. I think that's a really good question, because a lot of times we don't have the language to articulate what it is that we're looking for. And so in those cases, it's more listening and watching and, kind of giving input as best we can. But understanding that, we don't have the answers. So I think part of the support is watching the mistake that's getting ready to happen. And being there when the mistake happens to deliver the Band-Aid and the unconditional, let's get up, let's start again. And then help give language to what it is that people actually need. You're exactly right. When people come to therapy, oftentimes they don't know what it is that they're asking for. They are looking to the provider to be able to kind of interpret what that is. But I think that a lot of times they do know. They are afraid to say, right? They are, because saying what you need help with makes you vulnerable. So you have to be humble enough to say, I need help with this. That then acknowledges that, yeah, I got a problem in this area. Can I get some help? Can I get some insight? I think the other piece is that support is different from doing it. So we as women, because we can see it as clear as day, like, I need you to turn left now. Do it now, right? Right. You missed the turn. Okay, we can try it again. Turn left. Do it now. And so we want, as women, to take the reins because we can see the path so clearly. But part of support is letting people stumble. That's part of the support.
That one again. Yeah.
That's the hard part.
Powerful.
So I know it's a train wreck. It's getting ready to happen. I got your back. I'm going to let this train wreck happen as long as it's not life-threatening. And I'm going to be there on the other side to help you get up. Now, let's try it again. Because that's the only way they're going to get the help. We're trying to get people to stand up on their own. And part of that learning comes with the struggle of getting your knees skinned, crying, having all of that negative experience. Okay, now we realize how ugly this was. Let's try it again. Because we got all of the tools that we need to be able to do it. You're strong, you're capable, you're smart, all of those things. You love each other, you got good relationships. Let's just try it again, right? But it's hard for me to watch somebody stumble. So I want to get in the way of it. And then because the situation invariably will come up again, they're going to look to you to fix it. And I don't want to fix it. I want you to fix it. So that becomes the challenge.
So what you're describing is that what we call the classic enabler who doesn't allow that person to do that, and what happens. So talk about what happens when the enabler continues to do and doesn't, even though they see it and don't really give them the opportunity to work through it on their own. Yeah. Is that when they then show up to you in crisis because the enabler gets burnt out and don't deal with them anymore?
Absolutely. That's exactly what happens. That's exactly what happens. So, and we're among women. So at some point, nursing has to stop. You got to stop nursing, right?
That's good.
The breast is not producing milk anymore. It's time to
That's
stop.
good. Y'all hear that?
And I need you to feed yourself. That's what it is, right? So that is typically what we find. And I'm a culprit as well. So I got one I'm taking care of right now.
But well, I mean, I can't speak for others, but I'm sitting here, and there have been times when I've been an enabler, and then also there are times when I'm like, ooh, maybe am I being too harsh? But I like the fact that you said that it's not life-threatening. It's going to be a knee skin. They'll survive, but we don't want to see them hurt. However, we're hurting them by not allowing them to be hurt in the process. So as long as we see that they're going to land safely, and then we can help them see how they can grow from this point, that's when we're being a true support to the person instead of doing the thing for them.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, I often see or have seen, sometimes say you have a grandmother, and the grandmother has 2 grandchildren. And one they enable and one they don't. So sometimes they feel like one has a more of a skill set than the other one does. So I think that that often plays a role in why people like, oh, she was sick all her life, so we gonna do this, this, and this for that person. Or this person just, you know, they won't good in school, so you got to do that for her. That happens.
Yeah.
And then on the other end, then the other cousin stands up like, listen, you're doing that for Tay Tay every day, and you don't do that for me.
Right.
And so then now the grandmother's getting strict, and now it's resentment from the person that was enabled because now they're setting those boundaries that are so new. So sometimes you can see it from that standard, but I think that from how I've seen it and in my family and things of that sort, once you start setting the boundaries up, it's nothing but helping them to improve,
Right.
even if it is a little rough, you know, and that doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt the other person. Tears are shed,
Yeah.
relationships are sometimes broken, but it does help them to become more independent and strong in themselves.
That's very true. That's very
It is absolutely going to be uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable for you. It's uncomfortable for the person because you feel like maybe I'm not loving them as much because I'm now doing these things. And they're definitely going to feel that, like, you've always done this, like, why the change? And you get the resentment. But like you said, the benefit is you have to be willing to endure that uncomfort to get you both to a place where you can have a healthier relationship.
Right.
Because it's not a healthy relationship when you're always the enabler in this situation. Like that outcome, you feel good for the thing, but at the end of the day, it's not best for you or for the person that's involved. So it's never too late to recognize and change patterns and behaviors that are going to allow us to all grow and to mature spiritually, socially, emotionally in the process.
Yeah.
So the first step is identifying it and then take those baby steps towards engaging in it.
Right.
And might I suggest that we have that conversation now before we find ourselves in a position to need to enable them again. Hey, I was at this session and we talked about mental health wellness, and it brought out to me the fact that I think we need to sit down and have a conversation. You know, I love you very much, and because I love you, I want to have a conversation about how our relationship has been prior and some things that I would like to see change going forward, versus waiting until you're in the midst of that situation where
Correct.
they need again.
Right.
That's when you're going to be more likely to get that emotional, negative response in that
Right.
situation. I'm not saying they're going to accept it now that you're calm, but they're going to be at least more open and receptive to it if you start that conversation now.
That's exactly right. 100%.
All right.
100%. I think the most difficult part about setting boundaries is not the no, right? Because we can say no. It's living with the no. It's living with the no. Because we have regret, we have guilt, we have sometimes shame, we have fear. All of those feelings come with the no. So once you say no, how do you step away, take your hands off, and then live with those feelings? Once you do it a couple of times, it becomes really easy. But it takes that practice. So both people are growing. The one that you're trying to help build and uplift and support, and yourself. So it's dual. Yeah, yeah.
And I said that no, then had to go upstairs and cry.
Yep.
But you still have to learn
Exactly.
how to say that no.
I agree. I have said that before. Like I have said no, now you got my blood pressure all up. Give me a minute. I need a minute. Right? I know this hurts me more than it hurts you. You can't ever sell that one. But yeah, I usually need a minute afterwards. Like, oh my gosh.
It's uncomfortable.
It's
not your norm.
That's right.
And a lot of times when the boundaries are being set is that you are starting something new in your circle or your family or at your job that you've seen that just wasn't working anymore. And sometimes it doesn't make sense to other people because this is what we always did. What you mean? This is always how it's been. Well, this doesn't work for me. And that can be very uncomfortable and make you an outsider at times. But eventually, sometimes people see at your side, and if they don't, that's okay.
That's okay too.
Because you have to do what is best for you and that person, as well as setting those boundaries and creating the new societal norms for your realm and the people that you interact with.
Absolutely.
I wanted to check in to see if there are any other questions or comments from the audience. Oh, I heard somebody say, I know how to say no. We might need to get you to mentor some other people
No, you
in the room.
don't. She say it too much. No, you don't.
Amen. Any other comments, any other questions from anyone in the audience? Can somebody pass Carmen the mic, please?
were talking about creating that space to let them scrape their knee. I'm real practical, so are there a couple of steps that you can take to allow that to happen? Because I get stuck there.
Yeah.
I immediately, and I think as Black women, we do this, we immediately go into fix-it mode and solution. I'm very solution-driven. So what are some tips to allow that to kind of just happen?
Yeah. So when I'm in therapy and sharing or talking about these kinds of things with people, or if it is family members, I always get their stance on it first. So here we got a problem. Tell me, what's your options? Tell me how you're getting ready to fix this. I got my ideas. I'm going to hold my ideas in reservation. Tell me what your plan is. Let's walk it through. You can even write it down for me. I'll give you a couple of minutes to think about it. You can take a day, come back and talk to me. As long as this is not, again, life-threatening, let's walk through it. Now we're going to do pros and cons, and then you choose which option we should go with. And we're gonna walk it through. I'm gonna sit and watch. You call me when you feel like we got another decision point to make, right? All of that, and then let's see what happens. That is usually the way that I do it.
Oh, that's good. I like the fact that you said pros and cons. I mean, we practice that in a lot of spaces when it comes to making decisions. Like, it's not even which one, like which way is better in our favor. So that pros and cons is really like a practical tip for any type of decision making that you have to do that we talk about a lot. So yeah.
I even set deadlines for people. Like, we know we don't want this to go on forever. So how much more time are you going to give this person in your life before you make the decision to do the next thing? Why are you giving all of the power to this person to make the decisions for you? What's the deadline? 6 months, 3 months, 1 month? Then you're going to be ready to make a change. Come back, we'll figure out what the next step should be at that deadline. So
And I
give
think
them all of that power. I'm sorry,
one
go
of the
ahead.
major points is not talking about it in between.
Oh, I love that.
Just kind of, okay, we talked about it. All right, come back to me after you've decided, because you don't want to continue to, provide that extra, because that might sway them, because they kind of they're on the fence. A lot of times it's just, the unknown.
Yep.
So you might not know what you're going to have on the other end. And if you are practical, you are overthinking that decision about that person, about that school, about your kids or anything in general, buying a new car. It could be anything. Because if you're practical, you're thinking about how much gas is it? What's the miles to the gallon? Or any other thing. How much does it cost to maintenance it? All of those things are things that come up. So kind of not talking about it in between those pinpoints of which you get 3 months, 6 months, makes it, give them that time to simmer on it on their own.
I love that. And then once we make the decision, we come back. Once we make the decision and the plan has activated, now we come back. What could we have done different? Is there a different way we could have approached this? If this situation happens again, what we're going to do?
That's good. I'm glad you said that, because just because your first option might not work, it doesn't mean you quit. It means you enhance it, improve it, or go to another whole option and then put it into play for the next time around. So all of those are good tips. See, I got 2 couches I can go get on there the next time. Because I'm an overthinker. I am. And Miss Henderson, I'm sorry, I don't know, Ma Henderson, I'm like you. I've learned how to say no, but I struggled with that for a long time because I always felt guilty, right? Yeah. But I've grown and I've learned that there are those things these are the things I can control. These are the things I can't control. These are my responsibilities. And I think a lot of people still struggling with setting those boundaries, because that's what they are. They're boundaries. And I think the more we recognize those boundaries and start to set those boundaries, we become more comfortable with saying the no, because we're not just saying no to say it, we're saying no with a purpose. I'm saying no to support my mental health. I'm saying no to support you in being able to grow and mature and be the best that God has created you to be. So I think if we can get to a place of understanding how our no can then empower them to be better, we maybe can be a little bit more comfortable with saying the no to the individual.
I don't want you to think she's been saying no all my life. She just started 5 years ago. She talking big trash. She just started.
But that's okay.
Don't let her fool you.
But it's okay. She's now at a place of being able to say no. I think that's the power. But that's the other power in the room. Just because you are doing something now does not mean you cannot change. It's never too late.
Yes, it's never too late.
Yeah, like I love that. We're gonna have to. That might be that's a message topic. It's never too late.
Never too late.
Yeah.
I would agree, as long as you got breath.
I know that's right. As long as you got breath in your body and a belief
The
that God
chapter's
can
not
and
closed.
God
That's
will, then it will be different.
That's right.
Amen.
That's right.
I'm going to check in one more time with the audience before I go to my next question. Anything else from the audience at this time? All right, I like it. I see people shaking their heads like, ooh, I know I need to make some changes. Lord, I'm going to go home and make my pros and cons list. I heard Pastor Kay when she said it, even though she didn't have a mic. I see some others affirming the word in the room. I heard Pastor Joel say, ooh, she good. Like, he's listening, they taking in the tips. And that's really the whole purpose of this. Like, we understand that what we share might not be the exact thing for each person listening, but hopefully there's something that you can take away from this message that you can apply to your life, and or you might have a friend that you need to share this information with. And this, the easy way to start that conversation, because this is a tough conversation, is to say, hey, I was listening in on 3C Talk to Me Tuesday, and they were talking about mental health awareness, and what they shared was, like, that's the easiest way to start the conversation. And Pastor Joel said, if you have not already, this is your opportunity to subscribe to 3C Ministry RVA so that you can see all of the great teaching that goes on here at 3C. All right, next question. Making sure y'all didn't have any more comments. All right. How can faith and spiritual practice strengthen your mental wellness instead of taking the place of therapy or counseling? And the reason I framed that question that way, I said earlier, like, a lot of us grew up in households where, you know, we don't talk about those things. We, like you said, we take care of each other and we get it done. And we know now that that's not necessarily the best thing for us. So how do we pair those things together to ensure that we take advantage of all of the support that's available to us, spiritual, physical, mental counseling?
Yeah.
I was waiting for this question.
Oh,
This is
Margaret
my
broke
favorite.
out her
There we
phone.
go.
She got her
There we
notes.
go.
Talk
There we
to
go.
us, girl. Talk to us.
So the scripture I had that I felt was a great reference was Isaiah 43:2. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and through the rivers, they will not overwhelm you. When you walk through fire, you will not be scorched, nor will the flame burn you. And that's from the Amplified version. So I feel like that means that doesn't mean you're not going to go through things. But God is still with you during those times when you are setting yourself in different places or getting different supports, whether it's therapy, whether it's, I like to do what I call trap running. That means I'm just talking, and whoever my person is I'm talking to, and as well as other people do that to me. And I think one of the main takeaways of when somebody wants to talk and they just got to get it out, as a friend or a listener, you have to say, do you want feedback or you want to listen in ear?
Ooh, that's
Because sometimes people just gotta get it out, and they don't have a lot of safe people to talk to. You know, maybe somebody might tell it, or somebody's gonna judge them. But if they know that you're not a judgy friend or a judgy person, they can talk to you in that manner. That doesn't mean you're giving them free couch. That's what I call them, no free couch. But it does help to get that out. But just knowing that, you know, God is with you, He supports you, you know, that you can rely on the words during this time. And God doesn't have any anxieties or anything that He can't handle Himself. So why are we worrying about it? Right. So yes, I might be going through these things, but God is there as my backing and as my support to guide me through those things.
Yeah.
I like that. One thing, a phrase I use with Rodney, sometimes I myself say, I don't need you to counsel me. I just need you to listen. And that's what it is. I just need to get it out. Sometimes he listens and don't counsel, and sometimes he does. But I think it is important, though, like, if they don't give that disclaimer, like you say, maybe you need to say, like, are you seeking feedback? Because
I love that.
a lot of us are fixers, and we want to solve it. And you might figure out like, hey, I wonder why so-and-so stopped talking. It's because every time they share something with you, you want to tell them how to fix it. You weren't truly just listening. You weren't allowing them to just share. And it kind of goes back to sometimes people not being able to express what it is they really need. So we need to learn to say, look, you know what? I just need to dump it all out. I don't need you to fix it. I just need to get it out. So anyway, I think that's cool.
That is so true. That is so true. I think that faith, spirituality is a practice, right? And I think that we try to use those things without practicing. So we oftentimes come to the table not knowing what to do because our practice of faith and spirituality isn't strong enough yet. So we hope, right, that through practice and routine and devotion and all of those things that strengthen and cultivate practice will strengthen our walk so that we start to rely on that. But we oftentimes try to access it when we're in a state of crisis.
We're in a state of crisis and we don't know enough word to have word to stand on, right? And I like that you said that, you know, people say, I'm spiritual, I come to church. No, you just sitting up in a chair in church. And it even made me think about like, do you have true spiritual anchors? Do you have those true daily practices? Do you have those things that you truly tap into? It's Tuesday. On Sunday, we talked about 1 Thessalonians 5:16 through 18. Rejoice always, pray without ceasing, give thanks in all situations. Basically, it's expressing an attitude of gratitude for the things that you have in your life. And I thought about that earlier, like when your friend can't come and spend the whole day, how about saying, have an attitude of gratitude that she can give me this 1 hour versus, oh, I need her for the whole day and all she can do is show up for 1 hour. Like, I really do think your expressions of gratitude towards others does impact your mental, emotional, and, you know, spiritual health. So that's very important. And when you have a true prayer life, it definitely doesn't mean you don't need counseling, but when you have that level of relationship with God, you understand when you're tapped out with those level of supports, and you might need to then go and, you know, reach out for some other support practices in that space. So I like the way that you framed it up. It's a practice. Like we've talked before about the dimensions of wellness. There's spiritual wellness, physical, social. Like there needs to be some level of balance, but education across all of those levels for you to have a good state of mental well-being so that you can be a thriving individual. So. I also want to talk a little bit too, just about the impact of like physical health when your emotional or mental well-being is not in a good place. How does that show up? I guess rather, how does that manifest as physical health challenges?
Oh, all kinds of physical health. I mean, wellness, medical problems. Like we realize that in so many cases, you know, our communities struggle with diabetes, we struggle with high blood pressure, all of that has a lot to do with stress. Menopause is another one that we
I'll talk about it. We was talking about how hot it was in here before we went live.
I know. And oftentimes it is often what characterized by the personal summas that we have. But we don't talk about the anxiety that goes along with it. Like, why am I having panic attacks at 50? Like, I've never had this problem before. Or why am I crying for no particular reason? I'm not watching anything that's sad. I'm not talking about anything that's sad. I'm not grieving, right? But I'm just tearful all the time. Or mean. We get that one oftentimes. Like, black women didn't come angry. We weren't always angry. We weren't born that way, but I swear that becomes one of our narratives.
Blame it on the menopause.
We were not. It was not. We didn't come that way. So the question becomes well, why? Why? What is going on? Right? And it comes out of the blue. Like, I was just doing so well, and the smallest little thing gets under your skin. It irritates you. So that's another piece that, you know, comes along with it. No sleep, insomnia, all of those things kind of come from not being mentally well. Sometimes we struggle with those areas.
That's good. So we'll talk about the menopause just for a minute. It definitely has impacted my sleep, and then that makes you irritable, right? and the emotional piece is showing up for me. And then I think I've always been a planner, but I think my overthinking is more heightened in my season of menopause. But and it does impact. But I'm thankful that I have enough self-awareness a lot of times to recognize those cues so that I can then tap into my support. Like what I was trying to think of the word. We have people make their self-care plans. That's not the right word, I don't think. But anyway, it's like, who are your support systems? What are your hot buttons? Like, what are those things you tap into when you feel yourself experiencing those? And a self-care plan. There's a value in everybody having developed a self-care plan, because those things can help you keep you from maybe going into a crisis mode, knowing I can go to my friend's house and just, let it all out, or I can trade off my kids for a weekend. But anyway, all of those things definitely can have an impact and can help you stay physically well when you take care of your mental health wellness. Did you have a comment?
Oh, yes, I did. Sorry. So I can speak to myself in regards to health issues. Growing up, I had asthma, and I still do. And very young, I learned that if I let myself get stressed out, I'll be having an asthma attack. So I think understanding your body and the somatic complaints that come along with, and then kind of tracking and linking, like, I've been fine for 4 weeks, but now all of a sudden, now I'm having asthma attacks because I got a bad grade in class. Or another symptom that people don't think about, and again, I'm, just speaking to myself and things that I've seen, is sometimes when you have a lot of stress and you have a lot of things on your mind, the regular tasks that you do, it gets so hard. So my big trigger is, if I get lost going somewhere I go every week, I'm like, ooh, I need to stop real quick. I got too much on my plate today. I'll pass the school exit. Like, we pass it again, Mom? Yeah, I'm sorry. I was in my head. So kind of understanding, and then I take an evaluation and say, okay, what do I need to rearrange today to make sure that that doesn't happen on the way home? Because it comes out differently for everybody, but I know for me, for sure, when I get lost going somewhere that I go every single day, 5 days a week, then that means that I am thinking too much about something.
I like what can I rearrange today?
I love that.
Like, that's good, one day at a time. Did you have a comment?
Yeah,
That's good.
so we're talking about support, but where are these support groups? Or, because we're getting that a lot also here in church, and people are asking, where are the support groups? How do we find them? Because I've been looking, and I don't see them. Definitely therapy, you go to therapy, but not support groups.
So I would say one of the most underutilized tool that people have is the back of their insurance card. The back of their insurance card has a mental health line, and you can request a case manager for just your mental health. And at that point, they're responsible for assisting you to connect you with not just providers for therapy, but also for support groups, for medication management, for other levels of care, or to complete an assessment, which is always a good thing, called the level of care assessment, to determine what is needed. Because sometimes, therapy is really great. I'm a great advocate for it. But sometimes that might not be what's needed. Sometimes you might just need a buddy system. Sometimes you might just need, hey, on Thursdays, this church has a connect group, things like that. Oh, that place, they have a walking group on this day. So those are some things that they do know. And with being in community-based fields, case managers would call me all the time. Hey, what do y'all have going on this week where I can send my members? So that's one big way to do it as well. And then also, I know people just go to the hospital because they're sick physically, but it's also a place to have a level of care assessment for mental health. Not every time somebody goes to the hospital, they're admitted. Sometimes it's like, I don't know what I want to do. I still want to be able to go to work. What can I do? Oh, there's a partial program. There's intensive outpatient. Or I can just send you to this person, and they can also help you with mental health skill building or different things like that.
Yeah, I would agree.
I literally just shot you a text and was like, maybe in one of our Women of All Colors, we could put our hands to the task and create self-care plans.
I think that's an excellent idea.
Oh, absolutely. We
That's an
can
excellent
definitely do that in Women of All Color sessions. Thank you for that. And I actually have a template, free 988 resource that we got out there as a template for a self-care plan. That's very good.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
So talking about the other thing I thought about, and I'm glad you mentioned like connect groups. So we do sometimes need the more formalized support groups because I already recognize I have a mental health challenges. But also, I think about support groups of places where I go, where I'm connected to like-minded individuals. Like I always talk about book club. Like they're not there. They are there for my support. We always talk about the book, but then we always check in on family, like what's going on in your life. So that's a social connection, but that's definitely a support place for me. I have a friend. We go to dinner once a month. That's like another support. That's something planned. And the other benefit of having those regular connections is when you're not at your baseline, they recognize that, and because they know you, and they can be like, hey, like, what's going on? Sometimes we start on this shift without having awareness of it ourselves, but when you're regularly connected with people, they might be the one to identify that, and you catch it early so you don't, or get connected to resources so you don't have a more spiraling situation. So, yeah. Any other support resources?
Yeah,
Thoughts?
I think you find a lot that are at some of the churches. But I think that in our community, African American churches, I think we could do a better job of being able to collaborate with one another, right? To have many of these support groups. I find a lot of them at white churches, which, grief groups and that kind of, which we have the capacity, I think, to do. We could do them much more. We know that we've got providers as well as leaders in our spiritual spaces, right? To be able to kind of either provide mental health services or to provide support groups on certain topics. Could be something like getting to help. It could be grief. It could be, just family support. It could be, we have a lot of women who are dealing with raising kids by themselves. We've got men who are also single parents. So we've got a lot of issues that I think could be addressed from a prevention support standpoint, right? So we're not necessarily having to deliver formalized services, but we're using the community to help each other. It's just an untapped area that I think we could do a little bit more in. And your members, I think, could definitely offer the, service.
Did you have a comment?
Let me slide in real quick before you say something, Mom. Also, another place to tap in and to partner with is local community-based providers. Because in that instance, it allows them the opportunity to get in front of new people as well as do what they went to school to do and what they provide. So there are some people that do anger management groups. There are some people that do support groups, and they'll do it free of charge at your church just to get their name out there. So as long as you're partnering with somebody that you know well and they're providing a good service, I think that would be a great idea as well.
Yeah, I love that.
I think sometimes it has to start within yourself. For me, I have a vision board. And I think once you do that vision board, look at yourself, look into yourself, learn who you are first. Put that vision board out there. I look at my vision board at least once a week. My kids don't even know I have one. It's way on top of my refrigerator because I'm tall. But I have this vision board, and it works for me. And it helps me to do the steps that I need to do to get into the community to help other people. Because first I got to help myself.
Say your sons don't know you have a vision board. I know what your vision board looks like.
I'm glad you noticed.
Look at Zalta being sensitive. But that's another good point. It kind of starts with self-awareness. We talk a lot about self-care, and the value of self-care is really about pouring into yourself. And in our Women of All Colors platform, we talk about our bodies being God's temple and how we have to take care of ourselves, how we have to have a level of self-awareness about who we are before we can be of support to anybody else. So I like that you have your vision board as your visual reminder to always make sure you're tapping into, yourself and making sure you have what you need so that you can be a support to others. Thank you for that. Yeah. So with that said, I want to ask my ladies, what type of self-care do you two tap into for your mental health wellness?
That's a good one. You want to tackle that one first?
I go to the gym 2 to 3 times a week. I like to lift heavy. I just got up on my weights.
That's all right.
I have my own little clamps that go on the end. It's pink, so it's me. Because when you get to the gym, sometimes you can't find the clamps, and that's a bit annoying after you start going a while. I also, are you laughing at me?
Yes, ma'am, we are laughing
I
at you.
also enjoy cooking. Last night I made rasta cabbage instead of with pasta in it because I'm trying to cut back on the pasta. So I made that, and I like to try new things that other people don't want to eat. So I have to try it on myself first. So that's my self care that I like to do.
Lisa and I would not be joining you at the gym.
No.
Thank you for sharing.
Come on. We'll take it light.
I don't think I'll join you in the kitchen because I'll wash all the dishes when you're finished. I don't have any problem with that. Cooking is not my thing, but I will clean every dish behind you. So
Give
we
me a
might work
menu and
something
we
out.
can
We might
work something out. Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
That's my
So,
illness.
yeah, Dr. Moon, what is it you do for self-care? And then I want them audience people to pick up their mics and share what they do for self-care as well.
That's really good. So what do I do for self-care? I disconnect.
Okay.
When I'm off the clock, I am off the clock.
Okay.
Right? So I don't take work home. I don't engage in any work activities when I go home. When people accuse me of being a therapist, I am not. I really am not, right? So I take that hat completely off. I'm a completely different person. I sew.
Common, she sews.
Oh, do you sew?
No, we need your assistance. We'll
Oh.
talk about that later. We got some work. We about to put you to work. We got excited when we do it together.
But y'all got a little too excited.
We just talked about that when we were downstairs today. She thought she was coming here for some counseling services, but we need that sewing skills that she got.
Wow.
So she disconnects
I do.
and she loves to sew.
I sew. I picked up quilt making, and I enjoy any art, anything that I can do with my hands, knitting, sewing, that kind of thing, designing, all of that. Yep, and clean.
love it.
So that's my other thing.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the compulsion.
Okay, so I can clean. And I know that sounds strange, but that's a
That's
self-care
clean,
thing for
yes.
me to clean. What I tell Rodney is I cannot relax until it's
Straight.
done. I
That's
like
right.
for it to be a certain way.
That's
So that's what I do. I love to read, like that's self-care for
Love
me.
that.
I tap more into audiobooks these days just because I have to do so much reading on that screen at work. But either way, I just love to get in my reading time. And I'm starting to enjoy music more. Not that I didn't enjoy it before, but Rodney really enjoys music, especially like live music. And he is always sharing in our blended chat. That's our chat with our 5 adult children. Different, artists and musicians. So I'm really starting to enjoy music more as a way of relaxing. I don't fully disconnect from work, but I'm 85% better
Good deal.
than I used to be, and I'm continuing to grow in that area. So I want to hear from the audience. What do we do for self-care? Get the mic and then pass it around. We'll start with Pastor K.
But I have a question.
Yes,
because
ma'am, you can ask a
both of
question.
y'all said disconnect from work. Was it hard, and how do you truly do that? Like, I'm very transparent, so I'm speaking even though like I haven't worked probably now about 7 years.
I was thinking the same.
You don't get a paycheck for the things you do.
About 7
for about
years.
7
Okay.
years.
But just in life, with life stressors, or being, a pastor's wife, being a mom, like how do you truly like just disconnect? Like that is probably one of the hardest things for me.
Yeah.
So from a true work, so when I say I disconnect from work, I mean I don't open up the email, I don't work on the projects, I don't answer the phone. So I try to now just when I get home, leave the phone in the office. The challenge with the email is because it's connected to my personal, so sometimes it will ding, but I'm still even better about not responding to it. That's what I mean when I say I disconnect from work. And I try not to talk about it as much. I've gotten better, I hope. Rodney gonna tell me afterwards whether that's true or not. But anyway, he ought to be ashamed of himself telling that tale back there.
I've
Okay,
seen her at
anyway.
work and at Mexico. You've been at work. I'm thinking.
What?
Okay.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
So actually, when I was in Mexico, I wasn't doing work. That's when I was in school and I had a class assignment. So yes, that is very true.
Okay.
I was doing the work because I was not going to jack up my grades hanging out with y'all people in Mexico. Okay. So back to Pastor K's questions. How do you disconnect?
Yeah.
So honestly, I don't know. Like I said, I'm still growing in the area.
Yeah.
The main thing is that when I'm not directly connected to those tools, of course, that helps me in that
Yeah.
space. And I'm normally very intentional about switching to the next thing, even though sometimes it's more work. Like today, when we got here, we were planning for happily ever after, right? But I like those things. I'd rather have more time to do those things, but
you're
anyway,
passionate about.
yeah.
I figure I disconnect by believing the problem that whatever problems I have already been resolved.
Ooh.
If they haven't been resolved, they will be there
I
tomorrow.
know that's right.
So
That's good. I
Right.
like that a lot.
and
Yeah.
so as long as it's not urgent, somebody's not on the edge,
Yep.
standing on the bridge, or
Yep.
then
Yep.
then we can deal with
Yep.
this later.
Yep.
And the phone goes off, you can leave me a message.
Yep.
Or text me, I'll check it afterwards. But I don't feel a sense of control over what happens next. So that's how I disconnect. And I can do it without guilt. Like, okay, I didn't cause this problem. This is your problem. I'm gonna let you sit with it for a minute. I'm back on duty at this point. Right now, I have dedicated the time to either spending to myself, painting, sewing, quiet time, and I would disconnect also from my husband, Mike, right? There are times where I won't answer his call.
Don't treat my mic like that.
I know. But Michael called me about just about like, what do you want?
Oh, the male in the room said we have to edit that
And then he'll
part
keep
from
saying
the
the same thing
conversation.
over and over again, like, okay, now I afforded you the time. Now you're repeating it for the third time.
I'm going to just say for the
We're getting
record
off
that
the
I
phone.
never
We're getting off the
disconnect
phone.
from
You're
my
disturbing my
sugarwood.
spirit right now.
I'm being bad because he's sitting in the room, y'all. Okay.
Okay.
People in the audience, what do we do for self-care?
I agree with you 100%. 100%.
I love your mother.
What?
And I'm not gonna say
I've
nothing.
advised her to stay out of your business and
Thank
off of
you.
your
Stay out her
Thank
business.
you. Thank you. Saturdays and Sundays is my day.
Oh, I love
My
that.
day. When I leave the daycare at 6 o'clock on Friday night, I disconnect. I cut everybody off. My phone don't work anyway. I don't care.
Love it.
If it ring, I don't see it. I don't answer it unless somebody's dying. It's a dying need. They jumping off the roof or whatever. I had to learn to get to that because I'm the go-to person in my family. I'm the matriarch of the family. Everybody was pulling on me. They was pulling on me, pulling on me. And I had to learn to trust God that it's going to be okay. They're going to be all right. They're going to go through the crisis, but let me have me. Let me do me on Friday, Saturday. All I asked was for Saturday and Sunday.
Just 2 days.
Margaret did teach me. Some of the parents might text me on the weekend. She said, "Ma, don't answer that."
No.
And I had to learn that, to not even answer my parents because I'm concerned if you're calling me on the weekend or texting me on the weekend. But I've learned how to do that. I like to go to the gym. Margaret don't take me with her.
Oh,
Okay.
we're gonna have to
I work out on my own.
You told me not to say nothing, so I can't say nothing.
No, you can't say nothing. I walk. I like to walk. I
love
like,
that.
Karen knows, I like to be creative.
Oh,
I like decorating. That keeps my mind. Keeps my mind. I always try to find a project. Like I want to paint my whole house because I like
love
to
that.
paint.
Oh, wow.
Okay. If I'm not painting, sometime I will call Margaret and say, "Hey, I want to do a craft with the kids," because I enjoy that.
That's
Yeah.
I
passion.
find stuff to do with my grandkids. I enjoy that. That's for me is
Passionate about that.
that's a wellness for me.
Yeah,
I
I love
enjoy doing things like that, and I have 17 grandkids, so and 6 great grands. So every weekend I try not to get them, but then I get the urge to say, "Hey, I want to do something with them this weekend." So that works for me. That
love
helps
that.
for me.
I love
But
that.
on Sunday, I just want to just be in the midst of God. I want to be in the midst of God every single day. But Sunday is my day. Leave me alone. Let me just do what I need to do with
That's your
God.
Sabbath.
Amen. I
Amen.
like that. Thank
That
you
was
for
so
sharing.
nice.
Carmen?
Well, I don't have enough time to have a day. But I will,
Yet.
yet. I don't have enough time to have a day yet. But I will, reading is definitely one of my things. And literally kind of, I have to shut down my mind sometimes. So literally going into the room, shutting the door, turning off the lights, closing the blinds, and literally just being in complete darkness, in semi-silence. But yeah, that's for me.
Amen. Thank you for
meditation.
sharing. Sheena?
Meditation.
Yeah, I like to drive and listen to music, and I like going to the gym,
I love that.
listening to my music in the gym, and I love writing. I like to journal my thoughts sometimes, and that's about it.
Sounds
That's
good.
beautiful.
Music,
Yeah.
journaling,
The driving. I
writing,
love the
very good.
driving.
Celeste, Aisha, or Monica, do any of you want to share what you do for self-care? Didn't want to miss anybody who wanted the opportunity to share. The soon-to-be graduate has the mic. Y'all, Celeste is graduating on Sunday. Let's show her some love. Yes. She gave us the princess wave, y'all.
Oh, I know, that was beautiful. The way I choose the self-care, is that the question, right?
Yeah. What type of self-care? Yes.
It would definitely be alone time. I would find somewhere to take my baby to, which would probably be with her. And then I would leave
She's still looking for her
and
moment.
go and do my nails and toes. I do little side hobbies like that. I also make waist beads and anklets, like jewelry making. It's kind of peaceful. I also do these like coloring pages if I ever get really creative and feel like doing all the intricate designs on that. Pretty much artwork, like things that I could do with my hands, and if not that, then I am in a dark room with some music alone again.
I love that.
Hey, man, we got a lot of creative
Creative.
minds
Yeah,
in the
I noticed
room
that
for
too.
sure.
Yeah.
I'm envious in a positive manner of my creative spirits. I'm glad y'all have that gift because it is not mine. Monica, what do we do for self-care? So Monica is one of those persons, the reason why we're sharing all of these tips so she can pick up one of those things and start practicing self-care.
I guess for me, I can say I practice self-care. I don't know if it really is or not. I set nail and my mani and pedi appointments 7 a.m. before everybody is woke in the house, and I just go get my mani and pedi.
Quiet time.
So you do your own or you go somewhere?
No, I make appointment and she'll get me in.
I know
like
that's
early
right.
in the morning. If I need appointment at 9 o'clock at night, she'll be like, "Come on."
So you sneak in without my girls there? Because I know they be saying something. I know they be.
Max to go, but
Okay.
Montana's like, mm-mm,
Okay.
no. Yeah. But it wouldn't be self-care if they were.
That's
with
what I
me.
say. That's what I tell my kids. Like, if y'all here, this is not relaxing.
Yeah. So that and I like to read. So reading, this year I felt like I wanted to do more motivational and self-growth books instead of just all topics. So yeah.
We might need to exchange some book titles
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
I know that's right. So I thought I was the only person at 7 a.m. going. My hair appointment's at 7 a.m. every other Wednesday. Yeah, my nail tech won't start before 8 o'clock. So but I know I appreciate it because if I had to do my own hair, I might be in a mental health crisis. So yeah, okay.
Now, I'll go to the gym at 6 o'clock, but I don't know about no
hallelujah.
hair
There she
at
go
that
talking
early.
about the gym again.
No, I'm just saying, not that early.
So listen,
Early.
you all might have heard some new tips, something else that you might want to try out, or the things that you say are your self-care things, make sure you are practicing them, right? Build in at least an hour every week to focus on self, hopefully more than that, but if we are struggling, Monica, with finding time, let's just start with an hour a week right now, okay?
And self-care doesn't have to be by yourself.
Tell me
right?
more. 'cause
So
I don't want
self-care
nobody
can
talking to me while
involve
I'm doing
relationships with
self-care.
other people. Self-care can be quiet time with people you love. Self-care can be, you know, other activities. It could be something community. Self-care is things that we're passionate about, that brings us enjoyment as we engage. So it doesn't always mean that we have to do it by ourselves. If you choose to, that's good, but it also can mean that you're with people.
No, that's good because I do that as well, but I never thought about it that way. Like I like when we go in the lounge, we're in the reclining chairs, and we're just sitting there. We're not talking, but we're relaxing, and that definitely is self-care for sure. So,
Absolutely.
But then on this weekend, that little girl gonna be in there, so it won't be a self-care weekend in the lounge. So, yeah, all right, I like that. Thank you.
And
Go
don't
ahead.
feel like you're being selfish either. That's the other piece.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. All right. So I do have one more question really quick. So share a couple of pointers for someone who is seeking counseling services. They're not in crisis, but they are saying like, you know what? I feel like I might benefit from some services. What are some things they should expect, or how should they go about that process?
I think that you should think about what your preferences are. I think that you should consider whether you want someone to match your values, or to match your gender, or to match your Christian beliefs, right? I think race is another thing. So I think you should think about what's important to you from a standpoint of wanting a provider. You know, when I think about my medical provider, I want someone who's going to take time, who's going to not make me feel rushed. I want to have somebody who's going to listen and not tell me what they think the problem is. Those kinds of things, right? And so I oftentimes will find that people will believe they value one thing, but when they get into the session, that is not what the value is. So I would want you to take some inventory in terms of what you're looking for, right?
And also, just like sometimes some relationships don't suit you, some providers don't.
Yep.
And it's okay to break up with them if y'all are not aligned. Sometimes people become so, oh, well, I've been with this person for 3 years. I'm like, well, life changes. And sometimes that person can change.
That's right.
And you can change on what you're looking for. You don't have to be dead set to be with that one provider. If they're not working for you, or you feel like, you know, it's become more of a friendly relationship, because sometimes that can happen. Oh yeah, hey, how you doing? Versus really getting down to the goals of what's needed, then that's definitely something that you can look into. Like, you're not dead set or married to this person to have to just be with that one provider.
Right, I would agree. I would agree. Don't be afraid to ask for what you want, right? And don't feel embarrassed. I have people that apologize for saying, I want this out of my session. And I'm like, yeah, don't do that. Advocate for yourself and advocate for what you want before as you're engaging. And do homework. I always recommend that people do homework. If people can't call you back to make appointments, then that usually is a red flag that you don't want to be with that person, right? Or that if it doesn't match your value. If people get, you know, are not customer friendly on the phone, that may not match your values. So that, you know, all of those are red flags. We've got a lot of providers that I think are out nowadays. Everybody's kind of hanging a shingle. There's not a whole lot of providers. People are waiting a long time for services at this point. And so we feel, you know, when the customer becomes desperate for service, we will accept just about anything. But, you know, when it comes to somebody talking to you about what you have going on emotionally and in your mind, you need it to be right. Because you are trusting that they are going to give you guidance and give you support and give you what you're paying for. And so in that, I always just caution people, do not settle. Do not settle for a provider.
And then also, I'm glad you brought up, you know, what you're paying for. Sometimes there are free resources. And even with those free resources, you still can advocate for yourself, and you still expect the best. Because people take tests and they go to school to provide a human service. So even if it is something that's free, that doesn't mean they shouldn't treat you well.
Absolutely.
That's not something to accept. And if that person doesn't do well, I'm sure there's somebody in another They have the community services boards for each locality, as well as free clinics. You know, I've gotten some of the best treatment at a free clinic before, at the Fan Free Clinic back in the day. I was young, I was in between insurances, and, you know, it wasn't the age back now you can stay on your parents' insurance till you're 25. I miss that. I'm sad I missed that. But, you know, if this provider wasn't so good to me, then I wouldn't have learned so many different things about myself. And I ended up doing my internship there because they were so nice to me, and it was a free service. They said, do what you can. I think I might have paid $20.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
yeah.
I think we have another comment from the audience.
I just want to share something that I experienced maybe a couple of weeks ago, because Margaret is in therapy and she speaks to people, and so is her godfather. I saw this ad that said free therapy for senior citizens, but really it wasn't free, okay? So I looked into it, answered all the questions. They wanted to know if I had Medicare Part A, Part B. They said, oh, you qualify, so I guess that was the free part. Yeah. Okay, so they assigned me to a therapist. After she asked me all the necessary questions, she said, this is exactly what she said, I don't see there's anything where we can help you with, but let's find something so your insurance can pay for it.
Oh, wow.
And I felt like you're making up a situation that she might have said, oh, you're just emotional. I'm not an emotional person. She said, well, let's go with that, and we could use that so your insurance can pay for it. I said, no, ma'am, I don't even think I need your services. Called them back and canceled everything. So you got to be careful of that too, as well, because there's a lot of them are just looking for the money. They're not looking. They might pretend that they want to help you, and I'm sure that ad was for senior citizens. If I didn't know all the right questions to ask, if I didn't know, if you don't know, you don't know, it can hurt you. That's right. You know, kind of thing. That's so you got to be careful with things like that as well. False advertisement.
That's such a good point.
No, that's a good point.
Very
Thank you for
scary.
sharing that. There definitely are those persons out there who are in it for the financial gain. Hopefully, that's not going to be the majority. Did you have a comment?
I think you got a third panelist next time.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Okay, thank you, Mohammed. Now she want to shake her
nice.
head no after she been talking all night.
Oh, no.
Listen, so Proverbs 3:5-6 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths. In other words, start off your day, take it to God first, and he's going to direct you to those social circles that you need, to whatever the support is, to the right therapist, whatever that path is. But it starts off with trusting in God and knowing that he will lead and direct you in the right path. Amen? Any closing words of encouragement from Margaret and Dr. Moon before we close out tonight? Any last words, last comment?
I think this was a really good session,
Well, thank
very
you, madam.
interactive, and maybe we should do it more than once a year.
Oh, okay. I'm glad you said that as soon as Pastor Julius walked in the room. We definitely appreciate the interaction from the audience. Any last words from you, Dr. Moon?
Yeah, I appreciate being invited. I love the conversation. I think the support among women is beautiful. I think we should continue to support and love each other. We can do that without diminishing anybody else's shine.
I know
And
that's
so
right.
I love that. And so I love the power of women, and I always will support that. Thank you so much for bringing this
Let your
together.
light so shine that men shall see.
That's right.
Amen.
That's right.
Well, we really do appreciate everyone joining us tonight. I guess I pray first, then a couple of announcements, so let us pray. Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this opportunity to come together to fellowship and share with one another. We thank you for the opportunity to be iron sharpening iron, women encouraging women, and being a platform for us to continue to pray for one another. We thank you for mental health wellness. We thank you for physical wellness. We thank you for spiritual wellness. We ask that you continue to provide the word to us in such a manner that we are able to understand it and apply it to our lives, and then be able to manifest all the things that you have called for us to do. And remind us that we are blessed to be a blessing to others. And in everything that we learn and share that's good, let us show it in a positive manner towards others. We are ambassadors for Christ. They should see your goodness in everything that we do. Our good work should be representative of you and all the things that the kingdom has desired for us. We thank you for this wonderful start to Women's Month. We look forward to our other activities we will engage in, and we expect to see more people in the room next week. So right now we are manifesting no empty seats. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. So once again, we thank you all for joining us. Those in the room, we appreciate your interaction and feedback. We thank you for joining us online. Make sure you share this with someone else. If you have not already done so, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. We will see you Saturday morning at 10:30 for our fresh oil, and then we'll be back in here Sunday at 10:30 for service. And remember, life is better when we do it together. Peace.
Show me the way, show me the way. Show me the way, show me the way. I've been out here feeling lost, trying to find my way. Show me the way, show me the way. Lord, show me. Got my head high, but I'm feeling low, low, low. Lord, I need your direction, let me know, no, no. Show me the way. Yes, sir. Show me the way. Yes, sir. Show me the way. Show me. Lord, show me, Lord, show me. Life is better.